So those negative emotions, they become their own kind of avidya in a way, obscuring our true nature and leading us to actions that just create suffering for everyone.
Yeah, you got it. And the more we can cultivate those positive qualities, the more space we create for wisdom, compassion, genuine connection to grow.
So it's not just about what we do in our formal practice, but how we show up in the world every moment.
Absolutely. And that includes being mindful of the company we keep, the media we consume, the environments we're in. All those things can either reinforce or challenge our old habits, our limiting beliefs.
Like creating a supportive ecosystem for our spiritual growth, surrounded by things that nourish us.
Exactly. And as we engage in all these practices, self-inquiry, meditation, ethical living, creating that supportive environment, we chip away at the layers of avidya that obscure our true nature. It's a gradual process, a revealing of that boundless consciousness that was there all along.
Like polishing a diamond, revealing its brilliance. But how do we know if we're actually making progress? Are there any signs that we're moving in the right direction?
Great question. And that's what we'll explore in the final part of this deep dive. The fruits of this practice, the things that naturally arise as we dismantle avidya and connect more deeply with who we really are.
All right, so here we are, the final part of our deep dive into the nature of ignorance. We've talked about Wittgenstein, avidya, self-inquiry, even meditation. But what I'm really curious about now are the results. What can we actually expect to experience as we chip away at all that avidya and connect with that boundless consciousness?
It's a great question, and it really gets to the heart of why this journey is so valuable. One of the most profound fruits we experience as we dismantle those limiting beliefs is a deep and abiding sense of peace. And it's not just a superficial kind of peace, like relaxing on a beach. It's a deeper inner stillness. Something that arises when we disentangle ourselves from all the mental churn, the constant thoughts, emotions, desires that usually keep us so agitated and unfulfilled.
So you're saying it's like creating in that mental noise for a more quiet and spacious kind of awareness. I gotta say, I could definitely use a little more of that in my life.
I think we all could. And along with that peace comes a sense of inner freedom, a liberation from those self-imposed constraints that have been holding us back. You start to see that so many of the limitations we struggle with, they're actually self-created. We have the power to break free from them.
That's a really empowering idea. It's not about becoming someone else or achieving some goal out there, but realizing the freedom that's already within us.
Yeah.
But it's not just about individual liberation, right? You mentioned love and compassion as fruits of this path, too.
Absolutely. As we loosen the grip of those self-centered concerns, we naturally become more open to others' experiences. We can see their struggles more clearly, with empathy, and that naturally leads to a more heartfelt, genuine compassion.
So our hearts expand to include a wider circle of care. It's not just our own little bubble anymore. We see the interconnectedness, and that fosters kindness, compassion.
Exactly. And that compassion, it isn't limited to those we like or agree with, it extends to all beings, recognizing that inherent dignity and worth in every living creature.
It's a beautiful vision, but also kind of a tall order, wouldn't you say? I mean, with all the negativity, the division in the world these days, it's hard to imagine everyone being treated with that level of respect and compassion.
You're right. It isn't always easy, especially when things get tough. But the more we cultivate those qualities within ourselves, the more we contribute to a world where those values can actually flourish. It starts with each of us, making that conscious choice to act from kindness, understanding.
A ripple effect. We embody it, maybe inspire others to do the same. Though, got to be careful with this whole self-realization thing. It can easily become just another item on the to-do list, another way to judge ourselves for not being good enough.
Oh, that's such an important point. This path isn't about striving for perfection or trying to become some kind of enlightened being. It's about recognizing that wholeness we already have and letting that guide how we live. It's unfolding, not achieving.
Not adding more to our plates, but shifting our perspective. Makes me wonder if part of dismantling avidya is actually letting go of those expectations, those pressures we put on ourselves, the things that make us feel stuck and inadequate.
Absolutely. Self-acceptance, self-compassion, these are huge parts of the journey. We're all works in progress, and that's okay.
Not about erasing our imperfections, but embracing them.
Yeah.
Part of the whole human experience, right?
Yeah.
And maybe even finding some humor in those missteps along the way.
Absolutely. A little humor can go a long way, helps soften the edges, reminds us not to take ourselves too seriously.
Well said. So, peace, freedom, love, compassion. Any other benefits we might experience as we go deeper?
As our awareness expands, we also start to experience more clarity, a sense of purpose in our lives.
Okay.
We're not as swayed by external circumstances or driven by those unconscious desires anymore. Instead, we tap into a deeper knowing, a sense of alignment with our true nature that guides our choices, our actions.
So instead of feeling lost and directionless, we get a clearer sense of who we are and what we're meant to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that purpose, it might not be about achieving something grand or becoming famous, you know? It could be something simple, even ordinary, but it's infused with meaning. It's in alignment with our true nature. It's about living a life that feels authentic, fulfilling, a life that reflects our deepest values.
Finding that sweet spot where our passions and talents meet the needs of the world.
Beautifully put. And as we align with our true nature, we also tap into a boundless source of creativity and inspiration. And this isn't limited to art or anything like that. It can be in any area of life, our work, relationships, how we're involved in our communities, even just how we approach everyday things.
Isn't that spark of inspiration to everything we do? Seeing the world with fresh eyes, finding new ways to solve problems, to create beauty.
Exactly. It's about unleashing our full potential, not just for ourselves, but for everyone.
So it's not just about our personal growth and happiness. It's about making a positive impact, contributing to the well-being of others, the planet itself.
That's it. And that brings us back to the question we asked before. If our true nature is this boundless consciousness, what does that mean for how we live our lives?
It's one thing to get the concepts, but it's another thing to actually live them, right? What does it actually look like to live from that place of interconnectedness, of wholeness?
It means recognizing we're all part of this vast web of life, that our actions have an impact far beyond ourselves. It means making choices that honor that connection, choosing kindness over judgment, generosity over scarcity, collaboration over competition.
Shifting from me to we, realizing our well-being is totally tied to the well-being of everyone and the planet.
Yeah, exactly. Moving from a mindset of separation to one of unity. Realizing that true abundance comes from sharing our gifts, our resources freely, and working together to create a world that works for everyone.
It's a powerful vision, and I think it's something a lot of us are really longing for. But is there a catch? I mean, it all sounds wonderful, but also kind of idealistic. We're human, we mess up, get caught in our own stuff. How can we possibly live up to this ideal of boundless consciousness?
The beautiful thing is, we don't have to be perfect to start. We can begin right where we are, with all our imperfections. The key is to keep practicing, to keep exploring, and to keep reminding ourselves of our true nature, even when we stumble.
So it's not about achieving some enlightened state. It's about awareness, compassion in every single moment, even the messy ones, the challenging ones, seeing those as opportunities to grow, not judging ourselves for not being good enough.
You said it perfectly. And remember, we're all in this together. We're all on this journey of awakening. We can support each other along the way.
Find your people, those like-minded souls who inspire you, challenge you to grow. And it's okay to ask for help, for guidance. There are teachers, mentors, communities out there. But the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself.
Couldn't agree more. Self-compassion, self-acceptance, these are essential. This path isn't about beating ourselves up for our shortcomings. It's about recognizing our inherent wholeness and letting that shape how we navigate life's ups and downs.
Be kind to yourself. Embrace the journey. And remember that every step towards greater awareness, every step towards understanding, it's a step towards realizing your full potential.
Well said. And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into the nature of ignorance. We've explored some really profound ideas and practices, but remember, this is just the beginning. It's an invitation to keep exploring, keep questioning, keep discovering the boundless possibilities that are within you.
Wow, what a journey this has been. We went from those limitations of perception to envisioning a world where love, compassion, interconnectedness are the guiding principles. It's a vision that fills me with hope, inspiration, and I hope it does the same for you. So, as we wrap things up, I'll leave you with this final thought. If ignorance is our default state, then knowledge is something we actively create. What kind of knowledge are you creating in your life? And how is it shaping your experience of the world? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those minds curious and those hearts open.